I'm sorry I'm just a little few minutes late. I was hoping that this live would be streaming live to Instagram as well. I just put up a quick story on there earlier saying that I would be live, and now I've got things saying unable to connect. So yeah, I was just trying to very quickly problem solve, but as we all know, technology is not my thing. So good evening, Sue. How are you? So yes, I will be troubleshooting that one later. Do we like the mood lighting? It's done wonders. I'm actually sat in the dark with just the mood lighting. But yeah, it looks great, and my keyboard's all lit up and everything. It's awesome. Good evening, Susan. Hello. I don't know who Facebook user is who says hi. Is that Judith? Hello, Pauline, and thank you very much. I hope you've all had a wonderful holidays. Hope you've all had a wonderful time. I was hoping to like jump straight back into routine, get going. But my daughter's been off school today. She had the dentist today, and she's had this bug, and she's still coughing, so she's barely getting any sleep. So I've actually just spoken to the school and said, asked if they can do a phased return, because she's really just not well. She's coughing so much, she's not sleeping, and then she's not eating, and she's just exhausted, poor thing, but she's already had so much time off school, it's ridiculous. So my plan, I've been incredibly organised and ahead. Yeah, it's not going to plan. So, I thought for tonight, we are going to be doing some art journaling. But is anyone like me and they spend ages buying a new diary? I have to look around everywhere. I have to find a pretty diary. And my diary for the past couple of years has been these happy planners. So I have quite a few of them. I've not gone for this style of diary this year because although they're incredibly pretty, I'm not sure they are the best thing for... Ooh, my keyboard's just... they're not the best thing for keeping me organised. Pretty, but not the best thing for keeping me organised. But I've got a whole pile of them, so I was thinking, well, what do we do? Well, I thought we could art journal. So meet my new art journal. I've got a couple of them. And then the cool thing about the Happy Planner is the page actually comes out. So, sorry, this is not the best angle. Maybe do overhead. But the page actually comes out if you want. And I've got the punches to create that sort of shape as well. Since Paperchase closed down, there's not much out there these days. I know. So, I thought these books were too beautiful to waste. As we know, I'm almost finished my Pink Pig journal. But rather than run out and buy myself a new journal, as I tend to do, I thought we could try upcycling or reusing old diaries. Because if you're anything like me, you've got a pile of them sat on the shelf. But to be honest, they are no use to anyone as they are now. So why not craft with them? So that is what we are going to do. Hello, Dominique. Hello, Sheila. Hello, Julie. I think I've said hello to you all. So let's just turn the camera around, turn the lights on. I do quite like this soul darkness thing. It's yeah, it's worked wonders for that whole bright light issue. So if I turn you around, you can actually see that I'm sat in the dark. Look. Oh, hang on. Press the right button. Look. Woo. Right. Let's get some light on the situation. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Right. So let's move that out of the way. Thank you very much. I just thought it would be quite nice for intros and outros of videos. Also when I want to try and do some more vlog style videos and things, I just thought it could be useful. So I've pulled out a few bits. I'm hanging my desk. It's like the bit of That's Gilding Wax from a video project. Right, so I've pulled out winter berries and I had just started fussy cutting a few things that I had in my bit box. So this is the Happy Planner. I was actually going to be doing this on a YouTube video. I've got a few different diaries, so I'm going to definitely turn this into the series. We are going to be art journaling in an old diary this year. That is the plan for the year. So I've already had a sticker here. So we've got two types of paper. We've got this one that's quite thin. So I'm not sure that that's going to take many mediums. I'm thinking with the thinner papers that we will maybe have to glue a couple together to get the strength. But as I said, we can also take out and put in with this particular planner. So that means we could add cereal boxes if we wanted. So there's lots of things we could do. And then the dividers, I don't know if if you can hear that. They are a much thicker thing. So this was 2022, January 2022. There we go. So, my goodness, I went to Peterborough in January. Oh, wouldn't do that now, tell ya. Hello, Maxine. How are you? So I'm just going to take this out as soon as I can. Hello, Alison. How are you? So I'm thinking that this weight is okay. I don't think we're going to need to stack everything up. And then because it's not a diary anymore, I can move it around if I want. So we can make it a front page. It's a pretty pattern, but I think it might be a little bit busy. I also don't think this paper, hello Debbie, I also don't think this paper will take any medium. So if I want to start shadowing or things like that, I think we're going to struggle. So let's bring in some gesso. The answer to life's problems. And I've suddenly realised I've not brought myself a pot of water. I'm just going to quickly text my husband and see if he can send me some paint water down. Sorry. Hubbles, there he is. Down as Hubbles, right. I was so busy trying to connect everything to Instagram, I forgot that I need things like I would need things like water. Tub with water. Sorry. So professional. Maybe it's just as well I'm not on Instagram. Please. 2 kisses. That might make him do it. Right. Okay. Let's start off. So I'm going to start off with white gesso just to sort of knock the background back roughly where she will be standing, which at the minute I think will be about here. And then we will put clear gesso over the rest of it, so that it will take mediums if we wish to go in that direction. So I don't know what direction we're going in. I have absolutely no idea. He's not read the message, so you know, the only other water I've got is what's in here. So we could be cleaning brushes with that. We'll see how we go. Should have texted my daughter. She's attached to her phone. Right. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of this out, and then I'm actually gonna spread it with my fingers because feels much more intuitive. So I'm just going to get enough of this. It's just going to knock it back. So am I the only one, or does anybody else have old diaries lying about the house? Hands up if you're a diary hoarder like me. I'm just basically wanting to find out how many of you will be able to join me in this sort of excuse me, let's use our diary, our old diary as a art journal challenge. That's basically what I'm trying to ascertain, and also kind of trying to make myself feel better about hoarding old diaries. So please tell me there's somebody there that's done the same as me. Right, so we'll get this down, and I'll say I'm just wanting enough to sort of, we don't want to lose it all. The whole you have loads, so this is perfect. Excellent, Susan. I'm glad there's someone else like me that hoards them. I have so many. It's ridiculous. And what's amazing is I have so many, and I'm no good at being organised. My one this year is not nearly as pretty, but it follows a productivity method that I believe will be quite useful. You have quite a few, as I'm given one at work every year and rarely use it. Yeah, see? You can journal in absolutely anything. My first journal was just a notepad. So you can journal in anything. So now I'm just putting the clear gesso all over. I'm so upset that I've not been able to. I'm so glad I didn't put a newsletter. At first I felt really bad. I was like, oh, I've not given the fact that I'm going to be on Instagram enough of a shout out. Basically because my daughter's been so unwell, I'm starting the year behind myself, which is absolutely not what I wanted to be doing. But, and as I say, we're at the dentist today, and then she was supposed to be getting a filling, but between feeling anxious and the fact, but it's just because she's not sleeping properly, Between feeling anxious and coughing all over the place, they just couldn't do it. So now they've referred her to the hospital to go and be sedated to get it done, basically. So yeah, it's been a fun day, and I'm not working. So it's like, I feel like everyone's getting back into routine and I'm still just not. So I never put everything out, and it's just as well because it's not working. So we'll give a hubby chance to, hopefully he'll have it worked out by next week. Right, now that we've got that down, now I am noticing that now I've put the gesso down, this is seeming more flimsy than I thought it would be. So this is the thing when you start journaling with other things, even when you get a fancy smancy journal that's got paper that's meant to take all the medium, it still takes a little bit of practice to work out what you can do with it. It still just doesn't. Hello, Carol. You've decorated the cover of a diary for this year. Oh, excellent. Yeah. Well, I've got about 3 old diaries that I've pulled aside. I was actually going to make a YouTube video, which I probably still will. But as I has not prepped for today at all, because I've spent the whole day looking after my daughter, I'm trying to desperately get some artwork finished, so that the girls have more than 5 minutes to prepare for a launch. I have not got down here and prepped what I'd planned to do. So I was like, oh well, I'll just take the idea that I had. You went back to work today. How does it feel being back at work? Is it good? Does it feel nice going back into routine, or is it a bit like, ugh? Just using the heat gun both sides, because it just helps the paper to, because you do get a bit of warping. It just helps to straighten it out. I tend to find those, once you're working in a book like this as well, by the time the book's been closed and on the shelf, it'll straighten itself out, so I'm not going to worry about it overly much. Okay, right, so I'm thinking that we have her there. It's kind of, it's knocked back a little, but maybe not as much as I would have wanted. We'll just see how it goes. Right, I have pulled out some flowers. I also thought that I've got some odds and ends from this paper pack which seem to match the colours that she is wearing. This is just me at the end of this paper pack. Hello, Sharon. How are you? You're not back in... Oh, no, you tested positive. On the first day, the pupils are back to school today. Nightmare. What a shame. It is. I don't know. I find this harder in January than any other time. Oh, he's come to the rescue. He did actually read his messages. Thank you. Oh, and Instagram's not on. Well, he's gone again. We have water. Right. So, I'm thinking... I don't know what I'm thinking. Yeah, I always find it hard. I think in January we put not so much pressure on ourselves, but we kind of have all these resolutions of like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and it's all going to be wonderful and I'm going to have it all sorted, and then something just happens to just put paid to all of that. It's not good. You're still suffering with a chest infection. Oh no, that's the same with my daughter. She's got some sort of bug, and it's her 5th week now. And I feel really bad because she should really be back at school. She's already missed 2 weeks of school before the holidays. But she genuinely is just... I can't see her coping. I think that would be a better colour. That's too bright. Whereas that... Oh, that's much more her. We've got some random stamped bits here, but we'll deal with that later. Right. Let's have this. And that can be some form of grounding. I'll be good and just... I think I do have the punches to be able to put that back in, but I'm not quite sure where they are or how to use them, so I'm not going to make life overly complicated for myself at this moment in time. So we'll just stick that down. Hello, whoever's just said hello to me, I'm really sorry, but my streaming platform has just called you Facebook user, so I don't mean to be rude. I have not been in my craft room for 3 weeks, and the glue is all clogged up. Of course it is. Of course it is. Right, let's just grab a new one off the shelf. Box of glues. Okay. and we'll work that all out later. You use kitchen roll, Mod Podge and black gesso clay mold. Oh, that sounds... Oh, Carol, please can I see it? Please can you put it in the Facebook group or message me or something? It can give you a good laugh tonight. Last week you went into the office and the kitchen shut behind you. You went to open it and you couldn't handle the latch. You got locked in. Luckily the office DIY chat called. Oh my goodness. Right. What a shame. Hi Dominique. I'm so sorry. Technology's wonderful and then sometimes it's just a pain in the bum. Right. This is also a bigger style of journal. I've been working on the little A6 journal for so long now that this page seems huge. I'm a little bit daunted, not gonna lie. I feel like, you have to be a bit closer, I feel like you're miles away. There we go. Works better. Right, get that down. And then I can kind of, I'm just trying to work out what I can do to hide these black lines. I don't tend to worry about these things overly. I just sort of stick it down if I like it and I work it out, because you know we can have flowers or leaves or all sorts. So, you know. Hi Maxine, I am so sorry. It's the wonders of technology, which so far have not proved great for me tonight. So. I'm glad circumstances did not allow me to create a massive fanfare about Instagram, because there'd be a lot of people sat on there wondering what on earth had happened. Right, so we've got this, we've got that, okay. We're definitely into my comfort zone here, aren't we, of creating scenes. Oh well. Let's use this stencil and we can bring a bit of foliage down this side here, possibly some in on the side there, and then we shall see what occurs. Right, let's have a look at the inks that we have. Well, I'm glad you got out okay, Sue, that's for sure. Right, Salvage Patina looks like it might be the right colour. We'll have some of that. Maybe some iced spruce, just to kind of add a little bit of tonal value to those leaves. This was one of the jobs I gave myself for the holidays and never did, to clean my inking brushes. Right. Okay, we'll have the leaves coming down this side. We've got a young lad living with us at the minute. He's one of my best friends. Some of you may have met Rebecca at the at the workshop that we had. It's her cousin, and he's just moved up, and there was a problem with his accommodation, so he's living with us temporarily until he finds his own place. And he's just come home going, why is it so cold here? He lives further down south and he's having to get used to the Scottish weather. So we're like, yeah, it's very cold to get used to it. I've done all right though, because he is actually a trained chef and is also a trained barman, so it's great. He occasionally, well, he's working obviously, but like when he's not, he sometimes makes the meals or makes me a wee cocktail. So quite delighted with this setup, to be honest. Not gonna lie. How do I clean my brushes? Well, I don't know if it's the right way to clean them, but these brushes are makeup brushes. Look at this stinky one. I love it. There's loads of craft brushes on the market, and they're the exact same thing as these. It's basically just the same providers are now providing it for craft people. But you can buy these on Amazon cheap as chips. I think I bought a set for about £3.50, and I've been banging on about them ever since. So because they're makeup brushes, years and years ago, when my gran was alive, she was absolutely obsessed with shopping telly. I tell you, if she could see me today on Create and Craft, the fact that I am on shopping telly, she'd be tickled pink. Anywho, she used to always watch these programmes, these shopping telly things, and she was always interested in the makeup and stuff like that. This has a point. I will be getting there, I promise you. And on one of these programmes, it was a tip on how to clean your makeup brushes. And so what they do was you wash them with a baby shampoo, the bristles. And so I've always washed my makeup brushes like that, and because these are essentially makeup brushes, I do the same thing. So I kind of get baby shampoo, just cheap stuff, and I wash them with that, just sort of like give them a good scrub till it runs clear, and then I tend to lie them out flat. So when you dry, you should never leave your paint brushes upright or in water. I mean, I do, not gonna lie, because I'm not very good at looking after my stuff, because it damages the shaft here. So I tend to then sort of like leave them on a towel or something like that to dry until they're all dry. Whether that is the right way of cleaning them, I don't know, but that's how I do it. And I've not had any problems so far. Right, so now we have a little bit of a background. I'm thinking that I would quite like some of these leaves to stand out a little bit more than they do. So I am going to grab a black pen and let's go back over this, and we will use this as a well, as a stencil, but we'll use it to doodle through. So I'm just gonna line up. It doesn't matter if I don't get it very accurate, because I'll just make it scribbly. Okay, so let's just go around here. Now, because we have put that gesso on, we do have a bit of a rough surface. Surface? What was that? Which I'm not sure the pen will like. Okay. Oops. Now I've made a bit of a mistake there. It's because there was a little label there, so but it's fine. We fix all of this by just adding extra doodles. Now that's better. It just makes that sort of stand out a little bit more. So let's do, just need to match it. Which one are you? There we go. Sorry, just singing away to myself. It's because I need to concentrate on this, and so I can't actually look up and see your comments to kind of just chat about something random. So I'm now just sort of singing to myself. Yeah, that's not bad. We'll do this one here. I don't particularly want to do all of them. I just want it to stand out a little bit more than it did. There we go. Just think that, see, that stands out so much more than the ones down here. It just makes it pop. So and then you could go in, because it's like some of the lines are a little bit dodgy, you could go in and like here I would just sort of do some of my little squiggles, and if we do that on all of the bits, then that all of a sudden becomes deliberate rather than a bit that went wrong. Okay, and I'll maybe just do this one here. Once I find the right, there we go. Once I find the corresponding bit, we can do that. Okay, something like that. In fact, for these ones, I might just actually, you could freehand it if you want as well, just to make it look a bit more natural. Freehand those berries a little bit so they look more rounded. And we can also go in and add a bit more detail with pencil for those bits if we want. Right, okay. And then we have her there. It's looking quite good, quite happy, I think. The other thing I find is sometimes when I get to a stage, I'm just kind of like, I don't know where to go now. And I know you've heard me talk about the fact that it's really important to edge your work because it helps to draw the eye in. Sometimes I find if I actually do that halfway through my process instead of at the end, it helps me focus, it helps me see a direction to go in. So that is what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to put that there. This is going to be fun because these are all in short little bits, but we'll make it work. We'll just take our time. Okay. Right. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate that. Right, I am going to just come on and do a little doodly border. Trying to go really carefully with my pen because it's like that gesso's worked great, but it has created a tooth. So it'd be really good now. Actually, pencils would work really well on it with that tooth. And the watercolours should work as well. But I can just feel it sort of scratching against the pen a little bit, so I'm just trying to go a little bit canny with that. Oops, didn't mean to scribble in the middle of my berry, but hey-ho. That's what pencils are for. There we go. Right, get there. So, pop her there. Right, we still have to deal with this situation. I do have a few of these that we could pop behind, and then I've got the ones that I've stamped out as well. Well, stamped and coloured, but it's the same design that I've kind of used on my stamp and on the papers, so hopefully that will be fortuitous. Sorry, struggling to focus on talking and crafting at the same time. You enjoyed watching it in the Green Rune video. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed it. It was fun to film. Janice is a hoot. I've stuck, see it, I'm just going to pull that back a little bit, and normally I try and not stick it all the way down, and that's why, so that you can start to tuck things in. So yeah, we can do that. I realise that we've got an issue there, but don't worry, we'll deal with that later. If you kind of like the way the rest of it looks, don't worry about patching things up, because that can be done later. And the bit that's now ripped, it is fine. It's called adding texture. Now let's put the glue that's not working over there. That'll make life easier. The paper is still available. It's still on my website. I think it's still on Creating Crafts website as well. So wherever you prefer shopping, it is still here. Yeah, I do like this paper pack. I have to say, it's one of my favourites. I shouldn't have favourites, but yeah. Curious Wonders, I still love all of them. But I find myself reaching for Curious Wonders, and I find myself reaching for this one. Right, and then we could have that bit stuck there. I need to glue this bit back down. It's not wanting to play ball at the minute. Right. It's very random, to be honest. Not gonna lie. Right, I've got a little cake mushroom. That's maybe in blue, possibly. Right, okay. We have flowers. Okay. And then she would need some flowers near her there as well. butterfly over there. This started off like winter themed and it's rapidly becoming not winter themed. I don't know that I am loving what's happening here, to be honest. Not sure about that at all. So, right. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do about that at this present moment in time. Let's just stick the girl down and we'll work it out. Probably end up working. Do I have any more of that paper? I'll just stick it over. I have the full sheet of it. There we go. Oh, I should have cut out. Oh, right, now I'm trying to decide. Do I, this is where I love being alive, just rip another piece of this and pretty much stick it over there and disguise what's going on here? Or do I cut some of these teal coloured flowers out, which I think I'm aiming towards, and sort of put that over and break down that pink, and then it means we could use them up here as well? I think that might be my plan. Is that a good plan? Is that a good plan? Someone help me. Individual flowers. Thank you, Sue. Right. Okay, yes. I just think it might just to help to knock this back and then we'll have a few up there. Okay. Thank you, guys. Sometimes you just need a second opinion, don't you? You don't quite trust yourself. I'm always asking my husband things. I'm always like, he's very happy to give any form of criticism as well. As I said, Joel, he's staying with us and I'm kind of like, what do you think? And he's going, oh, that's amazing. And then I ask Alistair going, something's not quite right with this. And he's like, yeah, that what's not right is right there. And you're like, oh yeah. But he's not an artist, but sometimes, like, for example, the free Digi that went out this month, and I could not get the line to look right. Oh, honestly, it kept looking like it was stuck on instead of stuck in the glass. And then because glass is see-through, although I kind of knew how to do it, I didn't quite know how to do it and it looked right see-through, if that makes sense. So I ended up showing it to him going, the line's not right, what do I need? But he's quite good. I mean, he can't draw, he's not an artist or something, but he's quite good at perspective. He does a lot of DIY and he can sort of draw a plan together. So sometimes he'll be like, he was like, oh, what you need is this here. And you're like, oh yeah, that's what I needed, thank you. Now we're just going to sit and watch me fussy cutting. Sorry about that. This is why I should have a plan. I've been quite good with lives recently. We've had it all planned, but you know, this one is back to old style, let's wing it and see what occurs. So I apologise for that. But hopefully it's still as entertaining. Just having a little chit chat. I love having you in my craft room for the evening and just chatting away and seeing how we get on. Is anyone else crafting as they watch? Right, so we've got that's looking quite good there. Now we could maybe have a little one like that. It's all good. Scene building. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying. Right. Let's take another one. Let's see what we can do. What can we do? I just get a bit concerned that watching someone cut round little flowers is not the most entertaining thing that they could be doing with their life. Colouring stamped images for unknown future I like that, Elizabeth. That is how do you know, that is how I craft. I very rarely have a plan. I sit and stamp one day and then I colour all my images. I was colouring images for what hopefully will be Create and Craft in February while I was on holiday at my in-laws. And yeah, I enjoyed that. That's better. That's good. And then we can, nope, let's take that away. I like that as is. We could possibly put one of these leaves in. There you go. Then we've got a touch of pink, but it's tying. Right, happy with this section-ish now. I think we do need a little, I'm just going to take one of these. I don't want the flower. Actually, that might be fine. Because I just really want the leaf, but there's only a tiny bit of flower attached to this bit. Okay, just there. Excellent. I'm happy. So MS on YouTube, I'm not sure what your full name is, I'm so sorry. You're crafting. Lovely to have you crafting. What are you creating? You can play with them and play with your latest, you need to finish colouring them so you can play with your latest JMC delivery tomorrow evening. Excellent. Is everybody here signed up to the newsletter? Just saying, because we've got something exciting coming. Probably either tomorrow or Wednesday, but you're only going to know about it if you're on the newsletter. So, yeah, if you want to find out something exciting and secret, then you need to make sure that you're signed up. Right, let's get that going there. You're cutting out some images ready for future birthday cards. You struggle with fussy cutting. Any tips? Yes, I have plenty of tips for you. So, let's cut another flower out. And whilst I cut it out, we shall discuss tips. First of all, get a pair of scissors that you are comfortable with. Lots of people hate these scissors. I love them. The Tim Holtz scissors that everyone raves about, I can't stand them. So, but it's to do with comfort. These just fit really comfortably in my hands. And if you're going to be doing a lot of fussy cutting, you need to feel comfortable. So firstly, find a pair of scissors that fit you. And the same ones do not fit everybody. So, I mean, I would tell you, run out and buy these, but you might not find these comfortable. So don't. Just find what works for you. And then Alison's on it. So first thing I do is sort of cut off all the excess first. Because sometimes if you're trying to fussy cut and you've got all of this excess paper beside you, that can make life difficult. The other thing is you want to use your whole blade. So if you're doing this with just the tip, it's painful because it's a lot more work. You also get a really jagged edge. So it's good to kind of start at the back of the blade and then run down. And then as Alison says, as you can see, I am moving the paper and not the scissors. So I'm using my full blade and I'm using the paper and not the scissors. And that is when you tend to find you can build up quite a bit of speed. If anyone's watched Our Dawn, that woman is amazing when it comes to fussy cutting. She literally spends days doing it. All her ephemera that she sells is hand cut. I just think that's incredible. I don't know how she does that. I get mine sent off. Done for me. And there you go. That's it. Has that helped at all, Sue? Those are my tips for fussy cutting. Right, so we can have something kind of occurring over here. We'll have the flowers kind of going up, but we also need the sort of hints of pink again to match what's going on down here. So let's have a little pink something sticking out of there. We kind of need one that actually matches, so we need one from the paper. So let's take another couple from the paper. See, I'm just cutting that off there. Good, Susan, glad that's helped. Right. I don't want a lot of this showing, but the fact that we've now got it down here, it needs to be up here just for continuity. But not like that, because that looks horrific. In fact, let's just take the green bits off. I think that That's throwing it off a little bit. Something like that. Yeah. Okay, and then we can use this little green leaf as well. And we'll tie that side together. And then I think, sorry, we're going to have more fussy cutting. I do apologise. I am thinking that to tie this bit with the top, we need to have maybe just a little bit up there. Not a lot, but just a little bit, just to kind of bring it all together. Then we shall consider doing some shadowing, I think. So I want that way. Yeah, look. That way. Or this way. I could do with another one of those, but I've only got the two. So because I've only got the two, I'm going to go this way. And I could just, for the sake of a splash of green, use just one. Like so. Right, let's get that stuck down. You love the Tim Holtz scissors because the larger parts are where you put your fingers. They're better for your arthritic hands. The smaller holes. Yeah, see, lots of people love them and I don't get on with them at all. And this is honestly what I say. Like, you can hear people banging on about scissors being the best things ever. But if they're not comfortable for you, and so it is about trying to find that pair of scissors that you are comfortable with. How did I have that? I feel like I'm going to have to chop some of this because we've got this straight line there. There we go. But it's fine because now I have an extra leaf to just stick up the top. Okay. There we go. Actually, bring that down a little bit so it's covering the pink at the bottom. There we go. And then we can always have that bit just stick in there. Righty-ho. Very good. Now, still have medical. Can't decide. Right. Well, we're not going to be fussy cutting these flowers far too much longer because we've only got two more full ones left of this particular colourway, and then I think the other ones are just looking a little bit too limey. So we will see how we go. Just go with the ones that work for you, absolutely. I think as well, I was a sewer before I was a paper crafter. So I have used I remember my mum having these little orange scissors and you wouldn't dare cut paper with them. Oh my word, that would have been the sin of all sins. Because these are designed for fabric. They're not designed as paper scissors, they're fabric scissors. But as such, they're incredibly sharp. But I honestly have had this pair since, well, when I got engaged. So coming up about 26 years ago, and I'm still on the same pair of scissors. And I cut wire with them, I cut glue with them, I cut all sorts. But I have a scissor sharpener. So I have the Fiskars scissor sharpener that matches these scissors. And every so often I give them a wee sharpen in there. And they're fine. So I think because I have used them since being very young, I think I started making my own clothes when I was about 11. And I am now 46. So it's like, yeah, I've been using them a while. But I think I'm just quite used to them. There we go. That just sort of brings that together up there a little bit. Not perfectly, but, you know, a little bit. Right, so we'll stick her down and then we need to get some shadowing done. And then see where we're at once we have done that. And then we are good. Well, I don't know. Then we'll just work out. I don't know what we're doing, to be honest. I think we've established that. I don't know what we're doing. Actually, I'll not have the leaf, I'll just have the flower bit. It should be in threes. The fact it's a 2 is bothering me because, you know, everything should be in the rule of threes. It's more pleasing to the eye, which is why this is not pleasing to my eye, because it's only 2. So I'm just going to just tuck, 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 tuck. There we go. Right. Let's get her. So this is, I think her name's Winterberries. Just going to bring her down. I'm just bringing her down so she's on that line there because it's going to work better for grounding. There we go. Okay, we'll pop her down there. And then let's get these are done. I've got so many new paints. They're all gorgeous. Actually, they try these ones. I think I want a more of a tealy colour. I mean, I could mix a tealy colour, which I will do. Ah, see, look at these. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Right. So I'm going to get these 2. And we will do our shadowing with these. I always seem to pull out my, what do you call it? Inktense pencil. So let's just do something different. As soon as I've done everything else the same. Right. Okay. I'm going to get a little bit dark, and a little bit of light. Now that maybe looks a little bit scary, but it will soften. Add an extra T in there. It will soften because it's watercolour. There is also the most gorgeous grey in this set, which we can use as well to do the shadows. That is just a bit gorgeous. So I'm just going to go between these 2 teal colours, and then because I cut with a slight white outline, I am going to take it all the way onto my colouring. So this is then where we are very grateful that we put gesso down, because it will help it to take. So I'm going to actually get some of this grey in as well, because that colour is too similar. We're not seeing the shadow. It might help it actually take the thing off though. I don't feel like this is my best page in the world. Let's just let's be a little bit open about this. I have not sat and crafted like this in probably over a month, and so it's like anything. It's like I went back swimming the other day, and I've not been since the holidays, and I did my lengths of the pool. And I'm quite achy because I haven't done it in a few weeks. It's like you can manage it, but it just doesn't come quite as intuitively as normal. So this is not my best work. And that's why I sort of didn't give this thing a title. I think we've got Getting Creative in 2024. This is just about starting, finding my feet again, hoping for the best. This, because we've got the 2 different papers, the shadow isn't working the same on this paper as this paper. It's turning out very dark down here, which is a little bit unfortunate. So let's try deepening the colours at the top. We'll see if we can get it looking a little bit more cohesive. Yeah, so I'm just sort of exercising my creative muscle here and getting started. And that's okay. You're going to try watercolour paints you've bought. Oh, lovely. Hope you have fun. Working with watercolour is definitely my goal for 2024. I have been stuck in a rut. I've got a video coming about increasing your creativity and improving your creativity, and I discussed this a little bit. I have got myself stuck into a very creative rut. And partly it's because I've kept reaching for things that I'm comfortable with. And if you keep doing that, you don't grow. Now I'm having some interesting things occurring with where I put the pen and where I'm now putting the watercolour. But we're just going to embrace the fact that that's not perfect. It's okay. So yeah, working with watercolours is what I want to do. Sharon, our Sharon's in the chat here. She's been working away. She's been like trying all sorts of painting techniques and stuff as well. She's kind of gone from using them to colour in her crafty things to like trying urban sketching and all sorts. So that's fab. Right, so I'm beginning to like the atmosphere we're creating here at the back. I think what I might do is bring some white down here. We'll see. You find it interesting and encouraging to see you cover up some of your beautiful papers and just leave a tiny bit. Yeah. I kind of work in layers. I've no idea where I'm going to go. And sometimes you do put beautiful product down and end up not seeing it. And is it a waste? Well, I don't think so. I think it's there. You still sort of see the detail of it. And also, if you've enjoyed the process of getting there and you've enjoyed the time that you've had crafting, if you've covered up a little bit of fancy smancy paper, then yeah, it's fine. Have you had a lovely time creating? Good. Then it's a success, isn't it? The money that you spent on buying the product has, fulfilled its purpose because you've had a lovely time together. Do you recommend some watercolour product? I don't think you need to go out and buy the most expensive watercolours that there are. I think that you can... Oh, Sharon might be able to help us with this one because she's done quite a bit of work. Yeah, I don't think that you need to go out and buy, very expensive watercolours. All the watercolours I have are considered student grade. None of them are artist grade. But I also wouldn't go with cheap children's one. You can, and you can still create beautiful things. But it's like what my auntie used to say: buy cheap, buy twice. The pigments aren't as strong. These Kuretake, I put a video and it's got links to all the recent paints that I've bought. So these Kuretake Gansey Tambis, they're mid. All the paints I've got are kind of mid-range. They're not the cheapy paints that you can get, but they're not artist grade either. So I think a mid-range is a good place to start. Because if you go too cheap, you can end up like not liking the results, but then blaming yourself and going, oh, I'm so rubbish at watercolours. And actually it's not that you're rubbish at watercolours, it's just the fact that you're using the wrong paper or the wrong paints. So I wouldn't go too cheap. I would give yourself a chance, but you also don't know if watercolour is going to become your passion. It's like I would love Sharon's got some Daniel Smith. I would love some Daniel Smith. But I don't know that I will get to a stage where I feel justified to buy those because I'm not a professional artist. I'm just dabbling. So yeah. The Mealing palette of 36 are fantastic. Kuretake, these are Kuretake. I like my Kuretake. They are the ones that I reach for the most when it comes to watercolours. The Kuretake are also a sort of a cross between a watercolour and a gouache. So they are very highly pigmented and they're quite opaque. So that gives you a little bit more flexibility for use. But yeah. I've got a video that I've done where it was like, I think YouTubers made me buy these. So there's different things that I bought based on watching what various YouTubers bought. There's links in there if you fancy. Right, I'm just going to blast this. I'm really liking all of this, the top. I like her. I'm not liking how the shadowing has gone down here. So I'm thinking that I'm going to white some of this out with gesso and then work on building up some colour here after after the fact. I've lost the detail of the detailing that I've done at the beginning, but to be honest, I'm okay with that. I think that it's kind of gone quite watercolory and loose, and I think that works. So I don't know that I'm going to redo that, but we'll see. I don't need to dry that bit too much. That can sort of dry naturally. But I just want to especially dry this bit. I want to just get in there with some white gesso and just see if we can knock that back a little bit so that it works. The other thing that I could do is come back with some more paper and put it over her feet so that it's because I basically don't want her to look like she's floating, which she is at the minute just because of the way the watercolours have gone, but we're experimenting and we're putting paint on 2 different surfaces. I'm trying to just dry this bit so that it doesn't dry with a bend, but if I move this bit too much we'll end up with drips. You've got to teach watercolour painting this term at school. Not sure how confident you feel about using the cheaper paints at school and used to the Kuretake. To be honest, you can get great results with all sorts. So, I'm trying to think. Like Marimi Small Arts, some of the paints that she used are like cheaper paints. You just have to realise that they are not as pigmented, so you will have to use more paint. But you can still achieve great results no matter what your supplies, to be honest. So I would just have a play. Right, I'm gonna get in here. I don't actually know what we're doing now. I want to whiten this out a little bit because we need to make her look like she's standing on something. And I just need to knock back this gesso is kind of not past its best, but it's done. Right, let's just be brave. I'm just gonna right. I kind of want to knock this part back. I'm quite tempted just to take anyway. Right. Watch me struggle now. Right, I'm just kind of dry brushing some white here and I'm trying to make it match that background a little bit better, which I think we've kind of got the colours a lot better now. And then we can bring some of that colour down. So this is what I was saying earlier about just enjoying the process. I've now painted over my paper and knocked it right back. That wasn't my intention, and also I wish that this wasn't quite so high now. But you don't know, I just kind of work in layers. Am I happy with the layer that's there? Yes, then great, and then I gradually build on it. Do you have to gesso before using watercolours? No. Just good quality watercolour paper, as long as you're using water. In fact, sometimes they don't move as well on a surface that has been gessoed. But I am just going to, let's get the diary out. Right. So this is not watercolour paper. So if I just grab one of these, trying to find one that is the same weight and that is, I don't mind putting a bit of paint on. Let's have a look. What have we got? Right. So, I know I'll be redoing that anyway. This is the paper that we are using. It is not watercolour paper. Let's get some watercolour paper. Sorry guys. Right. This is like a mixed media. So this is a watercolour paper pad. Okay. So if I get some paint you've got an element of being able to move your paint there. And the paint will take, this paper will take quite, let's just load it up. This paper will take a lot of water, and we are not damaging the paper anyway. There's no pilling, and you can just see the colour move. See the colour's like moving and doing its own thing, okay? And that's because this paper is designed to take watercolours. This paper is not, so I don't know what's going to happen because I've not actually tested it, but let's find out. So this paper, so we can still move it a little bit. It's got a slight coating on, so this one is not seeping in. So quite often what happens if you use a paper that doesn't have watercolour, which is what has happened with my designer paper. This has got a slight coating on, so it is getting the movement, but just there now where I'm doing that, that is starting to pill and the paper is starting to tear slightly. So I'm not going to be able to get much on there. See, now I'm doing that, that's starting to pill and it's starting to tear, and because of that, I don't know if you can see that, there's a solid line just there, and it's because that part is soaked into the paper. I'm just going to use some of this here. So this paper is what's going on, it's going on at the minute on my, this is where I've had the problems. So that's going to go like this, and it's just soaking into the paper. Now that's, let's do a smaller bit. I've added quite a lot of water. It's really difficult. I don't know if you can actually see the difference. So that, I'm not getting the same movement, and I don't know, can you see that that's, it's kind of damaging the paper. So if I was to go on here and then to try and start, you know, building up another colour and doing lots of layers. Right, so there, can you see where I've put the green there? We've got a really harsh line because that has soaked into the paper. Right, whereas if I bring this one out now, I can do that, and it's, the two is blended together. Can you see there's no harsh line? So because your normal papers will just soak the water and you get that, that is why we then put the gesso on, to protect the paper so that you can put more water on it and you don't get that, the pilling, and also so that you get a level of movement. You do not get the same level of movement on gesso as you do on watercolour, so I would more recommend that you get watercolour paper. This isn't ideal, but it's the purpose of this was like, let's reduce, reuse, recycle, let's use what we have. What we have is a diary that was designed for writing in the dates and things like that. It was not designed for getting your paints out and art journaling and putting watercolour on things. It just wasn't designed for that. So because it wasn't designed for that, we do something to try and make it work. It's not 100% perfect, but it can kind of do the job. So now, because I've put that white down, the colours are matching a little bit better, which I am preferring. It's still strange that the grass is all the way up the top of her legs, but anyway, we will just ignore that and just pretend we're going for a real arty something. Well, we are. We're just playing, quite frankly. But there. So now the fact I've knocked that back, it's tying in with the over. But that's the thing, when I started and put that paper down, I didn't know that this is what was going to occur, and I'm really liking what's occurring here, so I'm willing to sacrifice what's happening down here. Okay, I think that's quite good. It's also just made these flowers pop, so I might just leave that as is, because I think that's just really going to make those bits really pop and stand out. And then I'm going to just draw in with a pencil, I think, just to get the final shadow. But I prefer the overall colourway of that now, and I think it flows a little bit better. It still looks a bit strange, but it flows better. Maybe we can disguise it with sentiments and things. I I think what I will do though is let's just get a little bit of this teal colour and just do a few splatters. And then I might get some with the grey as well. Just make it look all very arty-farty. Right, I'm going to allow that to dry a second. And I'm still not loving this, but I'm thinking that if we get a sentiment, we can disguise some of this with a sentiment, I think. But I think we're on the home straight. So I'm just going to let that dry. As I say, I might come down and draw some grass with that. Then it might just look like she's on a path. We've got flowers either side of her. Ooh. Yeah. Let's see if we can emphasise that a little bit. I never stuck my butterflies down. Let's do that. And then I will find... Oh, I've done something weird. Are you all still there? Something weird has occurred. Sorry guys, something really weird has happened to my screen and I'm not sure what's occurring. Right, okay. Whew. Oh my goodness, it looks like she's walking through a puddle. Yes. She's splashing in muddy puddles. Well, it feels like that. There we go. Let's get some little butterflies up here. I don't know if my fiddling has affected the focus, but anyway. Right. Oh, so pretty. I'm going to grab out some of our Dawn's sentiments. Right. What have we got? We've got Shine Brightly. Don't stop doing what you love. Right, we'll put a few different things. Here Comes the Sunshine. That would be quite ironic. Oh my goodness, I'm in such a mess. Just putting sentiments in. Right, Create and Bloom, because that's quite a... This is the whole idea of this. It was just starting our creative journey for 2024. Just easing ourselves back into it all. Looks like you've made a path through it. Yeah, I think it's worked quite well. Accidentally. That wasn't deliberate, but you know, yeah. Create and bloom. Create and bloom. With love. Create and bloom with love. Oh, I like that. I love the thing with putting sentiments on your journal pages is it doesn't actually have to make much sense. Create and bloom with love, and then I'm thinking that we could either have, let's do discover. I wasn't sure whether to put discover or inspired, but let's discover. Let's discover a whole new year of creativity. I'm going to pop that just over here by her feet. And we'll sort of disguise the fact that she's disappearing into the into the puddle. Right. The other thing, as I said, this is a really different size. I've not really art journaled on this size before, so I'm finding it a little bit interesting. I'm kind of like, this is a lot of space to fill up. I'm used to my little A6 book, which we will finish because I'm so close to finishing it. Right, I'll pop that down there. And then I'm thinking, I'm just going to waft this with the heat gun because it's quite white, still still quite wet down here. I want to just sort of draw little sketchy lines around the words, and I want to just sort of scribble in some sort of grass type thing. I think I've managed to give her a big splutter on her eyelid. The rain's in her eyes. Right. What I just want to do is just do a sort of like a scribbly line around this a little bit, just to emphasize it a little bit, make it look a bit doodly. I'm also just going to so we put extra bits and bobs here that weren't here when I did the doodling in, so I'm just sort of going to redoodle a line just down here so that we have a little bit of continuity. Right, yeah, I think we're pretty much done. Let's just add a few scribbles down here, and then I think that could be us for today. I will put it back in the old diary. Okay, not to forget, get some teals, some green. Just going to do a little scribble down here. Just put it over her feet slightly. Try and make it look less like she's in a puddle. Okay, and then I can do that with, so that paper's chewing up. That is because that's the paper from my paper packs. It takes a lot of abuse, but you know, it's had a fair amount of abuse. It's had quite a bit of water and gesso, and also plus I'm scribbling on this while it's still wet. I'm just gonna, this is the thing, I would normally just leave this at this point and just go make a cup of tea and come back and get it when it was a bit more ready. I'm forcing it a little bit, so I might just do that for just now, and then we can fix it and look at it another week. But yeah, I think that's just helped to kind of ground her slightly. So yeah, thank you ever so much for joining me. Let's pop her back in the, and as I said, because it's a page that because it's a book that you can take the pages in and out, I think it could be really fun to, like, I don't know, maybe do a journal page on an old cereal box or something. If we just cut it roughly to size, we would be able to stick it into the book. So I'm just going to make this the first page, even though I didn't take it from the front. It's the first page of 2024, so let's put it in here. And what I would love to see is anybody that's got any old diaries lying about, I would absolutely love it if you could pull them out and let's recycle some old diaries or old books. I'm going to show you look at the devastation on my desk. Yeah, let's recycle books that we have. For me, it happened to be old diaries, but if you've got anything lying about, we can look at various ways. I said what we might do with some of the other pages that are a bit thinner, we'll glue a couple together and see what we need to do. But yeah, thank you ever so much. Right, let's just turn you back. Hang on. See if I can coordinate this. Look at that. Excellent. Thanks. You can tell it's dark because now if I do this, you'll not be able to see it. It's because I'm actually sat in the dark, but I like the lighting. Thank you so much for joining me on the first one. Sorry it was a little bit of a waffle. Sorry to anyone that tried to come on through Instagram. We will try and get that sorted for next time. I will be back next week, hopefully much more prepared, with a daughter that's going to school or whatever. We will discover. She's going back part-time, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, thank you ever so much. Please do share it in the group. We've got loads of amazing things coming. Lovely to spend some time with you. I absolutely love having you in my craft room with you. And I will see you all again very, very soon. Okay, so take care and goodbye.